All right. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the MMA Advocates. We are on episode number 12. Appreciate everyone stuck with us from the beginning. And if you just joined, welcome to the motherfucking bandwagon. We're here doing the damn thing. Out of CA, Los Angeles, we got Jesse Ruvalcaba. What's up, dude? And the Pokestop van, right?
Yeah, I'm outside the Pokestop just so I could get a better connection. But, man, if I'm in a shitty part of town, so if I got to bounce, I got to bounce, guys.
No, just take off running, dude. It'd be good ratings if we catch you running on some shit. Anyway, we do run now. What are you doing? Fucking run right now. Fucking A.
Yeah.
Dude, it's going like,
If you get smoked on air, this is going to be our best episode yet.
Everybody will watch this shit. It will be fucked up. All right. Out of Dayton, Ohio, Fred Kirby. What's up, my man?
What's happening, fellas? What's happening?
All right. And, of course, out of Albuquerque, ABQ, Mr. Insider at Jackson's himself, David Rodriguez from ESPN Radio. What's up, man?
What's happening, everybody? Appreciate y'all tuning in. And episode 12, here we are. Been a crazy week so far, so let's get to it.
All right, so we definitely just like you said, crazy weeks. We had last weekend's event. We'll go kind of in order-ish. We're gonna get, believe me, we'll get to UFC 205, the on sale presser, which by the way is stupid. And I have a point about the journalist has some stupid questions. But right away, let's get to UFC Brasilia, of course, in Brazil. Main event was Cyborg versus was it Lena Landsberg? Yeah, Landsberg. And got to give Landsberg credit, man. She lasted more than a round. Barely. But she lasted more than a round. But what'd you think of that fight, Jesse? Jesse? You lose him?
Off just can you hear me?
Yeah, barely.
Hello?
There you are. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Pretty much it went off just as I thought it was going to go off. I mean, what else did you expect from a contender that, kind of nobody had really heard of, not very good record coming into this fight, not really well-known people that she had beaten. So, I mean, we got what we were going to get. I guess the big takeaway was going to be how bad Cyborg's weight cut was going to be, which I told you guys was not going to be an issue. So, there it is.
Hey, Dave, you got to watch the fight. It seemed like Cyborg was like the usual Cyborg, and Landsberg was kind of like a walking heavy bag because she took a lot of punishment, man. But what do you think of the fight? Specifically, what do you think of Landsberg? Did she do how you think she was going to do, or was it business as usual?
Pretty much. I mean, I watched the fight a couple times over the entire card, actually. So, yeah, looking at that fight, the last time I looked at it, I mean, pretty much Landsberg, it was tougher than we all thought. In the clinch, she was able to do a few things against Cyborg, but pretty much that was the game plan for Cyborg. And then she got the takedowns in which she implemented some vicious ground and pound. So, yeah, Landsberg hung in there a lot longer than we thought, but I pretty much thought, maybe I'd give her at least a round and not necessarily just a quick finish in the first via Cyborg. But she looked good. I'm pretty much, I want to leave it next to Fred. I mean, I know Fred, he tweeted out, afterwards, it's pretty much, it's not like she starched anybody at the highest level, a relatively unknown opponent. So, Fred, man, totally agree with you, post-fight. I mean, we got to line her up with a big bout here, Fred. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think I don't give a fuck. And I think that Lisa Landsberg didn't do shit. She didn't fucking put a scratch on Cyborg, man. Just like Cyborg's last 87 opponents. Quite frankly, I'm starting to feel like Cyborg is overrated as fuck. And it's not necessarily her fault, but Jesus fucking Christ, she has got to fight somebody that matters at some point. Like, I think maybe one of our topics for the night is Cyborg, pound for pound, the best female fighter. I feel like fucking Dana White arguing about Fedor back in the day. Who the fuck has Cyborg fought? Jesus fucking Christ. She just beat a broad that none of us have heard of. All due respect to fucking Landsberg. Nobody has heard of her. She should not have been fighting Cyborg, the pound for pound great in females MMA. I mean, it's just enough with it already. People are arguing that she needs her own division and that she has enough star power to do it. Maybe. But to be completely honest with you, I'm not interested in that either. A fucking 145-pound female that's a big fight for fucking Cyborg on planet Earth.
That's a big fight, or just name another 145er?
Jesus Christ, that's a big fight. I know they exist, but I'm saying a fight that fucking matters at 145.
Wait. How about this stat? If you go on Fight Metric, the list of women that are 145 or at least 140 and up, there's only 15 of them.
Yeah.
15.
So there you,
yeah,
that's not even good enough for a tournament.
There you go. And none of them have remotely close to the star power that's at 35. Miesha Tate, Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey. What the fuck? The list goes on and on. She has got to fight one of these girls. Catch weight, 45, 40, fucking 38, 52. I don't give a fuck. She has got to fight a name next. It does no good to create a whole division around her if she keeps fighting fucking Lisa Landsberg.
I mean, you know what? That's a great point. Now, real quick, shout out to Mike Jarvis and Minnie and Mac on the YouTube, and Mac actually has a good point. He says Cyborg is already ranked in the UFC pound for pound list this week, and we'll just get into it now. At number 15, after just 2 fights at catch weights against unseeded opponents. I mean, look, at this point, the ranking, look, we already know the rankings are bullshit, right? I mean, we've known it from the beginning, really. Now, it's even more bullshit. They're trying to sell us Cyborg because of this number 15 pound for pound thing. Next thing you're gonna have, Joe Rogan screaming out, "Oh, she's the number 15 pound for pound, the best ever," and shit like that. And he's just selling us a fucking name. I mean, Fred, it's exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Listen, what is Mickey Gall? Fucking ranked fucking 19th pound for pound. I mean, shit. She all bullshit aside, all joking aside, man, she has really beat nobody of note. And 45, man, fuck a Marlies Conan. All due respect. 45 is fucking dry as a goddamn popcorn fart, okay? There's nobody there for her to fucking fight, man. She's in a super weak division. You think men's heavyweight is fucking weak? Female featherweight is weak as fuck. Now, she's been very dominant at that weight, but let's fucking keep it funky, dog. The last real fight she had was against Gina Carano. Like, let's keep it funky. The last real big win she had was a chick that ain't fought in a fucking month of Sundays. I want to see Cyborg in a real fight. I don't give a fuck if they got to pay Holly Holm, Conor McGregor money. Get Cyborg a fucking fight that we can find out just how good she is. Listen, maybe she is pound for pound the best. Who knows? But she has not fought nobody close to the level of competition needed to give her such praise.
Wait. But
for me.
Okay, but you're just sticking strictly to MMA because you do remember she did get pieced up and beaten by Jarena Bars in what was it, a Muay Thai fight or was it kickboxing?
It was Muay Thai. But nobody wants to fight Bars. She's scary as shit.
Exactly. And that almost worked to her benefit because that broad's like the fucking Muay Thai god, and Cyborg actually hung with her. Be all that as it may, this ain't fucking Muay Thai. It's MMA, and in MMA, she hasn't fought no fucking names at all.
Yeah, so I mean, look, and Dave, who would you like? We just talked about Holly Holm, right? Holly, and you were talking about before the show started about Holly Holm looking for something. I mean, this is something that we would love to see Holly Holm in, but if not Holly Holm, who would you pair Cyborg up with in the near future, hopefully?
Yeah, the UFC, the 205 booking with Miesha Tate, I was kind of shocked by that. I thought maybe that could be a potential fight. I mean, Cyborg did come out pretty unscathed out the fight. Landsberg didn't do anything. So she's pretty much fresh for another bout. I hope they get her a bout before the end of the year. That's Holly's plan, is to fight before the end of the year. So if a lot of fans can raise up enough scuff to get Michael Bisping and Dan Henderson to fight for the title, I think people need to get behind it, and let's see a big super fight in the women's, whatever, if it's a catch weight, like Fred said, at any sort of weight, make it happen, because we got to see Cyborg tested. I'm with Fred on it 100%. That's why the way it played out, we're pretty much right back at square one with Cyborg here. So going forward, I just want to see her in a big bout, and hopefully it's Holly Holm. I really do hope so.
What was that? The statistic, what was it? 0 significant strikes in that entire round and a half that she lasted?
She landed nothing. She didn't have a chance to do anything.
It's pathetic. Yeah. It's pathetic.
Bro,
I mean,
Holly Holm would be great, but anything
you think so?
Well, I mean, that would be a great test for Cyborg. But fuck, man, at the rate we've been going, Sarah McMahon, Kat Zingano, goddamn.
Yeah.
Fucking anybody would be like, yo, okay, this will be, and maybe she'll steamroll them too, but at least if she steamrolls them, then I'll shut the fuck up. Even if it's Sarah McMahon, who has a motherfucking Olympic pedigree wrestling, you know what I'm saying? If she steamrolls her, then it's like, yo, okay, name. Now I can shut the fuck up. But till she gets a name like that, at least a name like that, come on.
But here's the thing, though. Do you really think that's what would be good for Holly Holm? She's now riding a 2-fight losing streak. So I think you'd want to build Holly Holm up, especially if you want to keep her around and kind of build her back up to be that contender that we like. I think a lot of people are still wanting to see the Ronda Rousey Holly Holm fight. So if you feed her to Cyborg and she gets wrecked again, I think that fight kind of goes away, and I don't think you have that matchup anymore.
One good thing about Cyborg, she's kind of like Goro. If you do lose to Cyborg, it's not that big a deal because she's got this mythical thing. You know what I'm saying? Say Holly Holm fights her and she starts as Holly Holm. Motherfuckers are just going to be like, yo, Cyborg's for real. And Holly, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't going to be good for sure. But I'd rather take that L than fuck around and lose to somebody at 35. You know what I'm saying? That's going to kill Holly Holm. If I'm Holly Holm, I jump on the Cyborg fight because if she beats me, it's like, fuck it. But if I win, it changes everything. That's a Ronda Rousey win. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And Cyborg's open to super fights. That's the thing, though, that on the basis of that being a super fight, you know, with the fan interest, with Holly being the former champion, definitely on the that's a potential matchup, you know, for a super fight, though. That's what Cyborg's open to taking now. I think they need to give her that.
But where would that fight be contested? Would it be at 140 or 145? It can't be at 145 because under the contract that she has with Zuffa or UFC, she can't defend her title or be in a 145 fight in the UFC.
That's correct. Yeah.
140. She just made it. She'll make it. 140.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too about the weight cut. I thought the weight cut was gonna affect her. Obviously, it didn't because you know Landsberg wasn't that high level kind of fighter was gonna make her pay for that. But that weight cut is clearly like fucked up, right? And maybe she played it up. Let's say maybe she played it up. And I know Jesse, you mentioned something about that like last week, right? That maybe she was like playing it up a little bit. That whole team. Jesse,
you have to think of everything that she's gone through. And, you know, it's to her, it's more of a protecting herself. You know, she doesn't want to do something that could damage her, that could affect her. And her trust is not where it's supposed to be, you know. She doesn't give full trust to anybody anymore at this point, especially after she got popped for what she got popped with, you know. Now she has an extra wall of defense against anybody that brings her advice or is trying to help her, you know, anything. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at somebody that doesn't trust fully the people that they've surrounded themselves with, even though those people are probably the best people that she could have around her to do this. But, you know, the trust still isn't there, and you can see it.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, too, you guys hear me?
What?
A little bit.
Okay.
There we go. I think you're back now, Eddie. I can see you moving.
All right,
yeah, I can see you moving.
Fucking shit, dude. Hey, I swear to God, Apple products, you guys are pricks. Goddamn.
Google Plus.
Better computer. Anyway, real quick. Here, you guys keep on going. I gotta run outside and do something. But here, I'll leave you with something here. With the Cyborg thing again, the problem with anybody that match her up against. What about Megan Anderson? Everyone's been throwing that name out like left and right, and she's been like begging for the fight. What do you think about it? Does anyone even, first of all, did anyone here would you want to see that fight?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred.
So Megan Anderson, she's like a prospect at 45, right? From what I understand. Right. Okay. Yeah. No. I don't give an F about Megan Anderson. All due respect, I'm sure she's a great fighter. I'm sure she's a prospect at 145. Nobody knows who she is. Cyborg has pretty much the most popular name in females MMA right now. Of course you don't book her against it. Listen, is anybody fucking listening to what's going on right now? No, you do not book her against somebody we've never heard of ever again. Those days need to be over, Jack. The days of Cyborg fighting tomato cans need to be over at 45 or 40 or any other fucking weight division. And I'm not saying that Megan Anderson is a tomato can. I'm just saying she's fucking young and nowhere, you know what I mean? She don't need to be fighting fucking Cyborg. Not yet.
I guess I agree with you to a certain point, but I also think that the only way you're going to build up that division is putting at least somebody in there and keeping her name, at least her name, relevant. I mean, eventually, Father Time's going to catch up with her, right? She can't be the Mighty Mouse or like a Ronda Rousey. Eventually, someone's going to catch her, and eventually, that person's going to win. So, I mean, I think if there's nothing else, like I said earlier, I mean, 15 people in a division worldwide, that's pathetic. I mean,
Right.
You just got to throw whoever you can, whoever's built enough steam in there at least to keep that division going. Because, I mean, if you don't do that, then you might as well just, you don't have a 135 division anymore.
You don't. If there's only 15 broads worldwide in that division, you don't have a division. Goddamn, there's probably 15 broads that weigh 62 pounds. That doesn't give them a goddamn division. That's not shit. That's nowhere near enough for a division. You know what I'm saying? Like, so listen, that is not a possibility. With 15 fucking actual contenders, that's nowhere near a possibility.
Yeah.
So do the super fights, man. Dangle some carrots in front of some names from 35, some bigger girls from 35 that have competed at 45 or can compete at 45, and make those fights for Cyborg and be done with it. That's the only thing there is to do with Cyborg at this point. She's a huge name. You got to book her against somebody, another name. Fucking.
Let me ask you though, Fred. Do you do like do you give her top names that are on the up, or do you give her top names that are kind of like a little on the down slope, kind of like you mentioned earlier, like a Sarah McMahon who does have the credentials but just hasn't been able to put it together, or maybe like who else is in that category? Kind of like a Liz Carmouche, or one of those girls that kind of like they have a name, sort of.
Listen. Me personally, I would fucking give her Holly Holm or Misha Tate.
Yeah,
she's right there. Ronda Rousey, if she doesn't get Amanda Nunes, you know what I'm saying? Man, Cyborg needs a big fucking fight. Like, if you can't get her one of those fights, then if Liz Carmouche is the biggest name that'll actually take it, then you do that. If you can book her against Misha Tate or Holly Holm or something, fuck yeah. That's a headliner. Listen, it wasn't a pay-per-view card, but they just headlined a card with her against the no-namer. Her against Holly Holm is fucking legit. Her against Misha Tate is legit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had it my way, I'd see just how good Cyborg is in her next fight. I would put her to the fucking test, Jack.
In Brazil, you think, Fred? You think that's also be the ideal location for the next Cyborg fight if she's a headliner, if they want to headline it?
Yeah. I mean, depending on who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's obviously a huge draw and a huge star in Brazil. So I don't think you can go wrong with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's never going to be
a bad
idea. There is that
card. Yeah, there is a card coming up. That's why Claudia Gadelha is competing on that card. So that's possibly one of the fight nights. The fight night 100, if I'm not mistaken. That could be the card where she could fight again.
Who is she fighting?
Who was the bout book? I kind of just seen a little bit about it earlier.
Exactly. You don't know. Nobody knows. You know
it just got announced today. That's why I checked in.
Lob the Brazilians some softballs from time to time.
That's what they gotta do, though, because who fucking knows? They need more Brazilians. Brazil used to be like one of the biggest fight, like the biggest fight fan as a country or whatever, and for the longest time. And then Canada pretended to take over for a little bit, and they fucked that up. And then now Brazil's kind of fucking that up since they lost all these Brazilian champions and shit. So they're trying to get something going down there. You know what I mean? But, it is what it is. Gadelha just got her ass, Gadelha just got her ass whooped by Joanna. So, are you guys still talking about the Cyborg fight?
Yeah, we can move on to the Roy Nelson Bigfoot.
So that shit ended the way everyone thought it was going to be, right? Roy Nelson landing one, putting Bigfoot on his ass, and then finishing him, right? Now, here's where nobody saw this coming. Is Roy Nelson push kicking Big John right on the ass afterwards because he was pissed off basically that Big John took too long to stop that fight, or he felt like Big John took too long to stop that fight. And he just push kicked him on the ass. Now, remember last time we saw a fighter push or touch a referee was Jason High, and he got cut immediately. Like that night, he got cut, right? And he hasn't been back in the UFC since. Dana White's like, never again. I guess not coming back. Fred, does that happen to Roy Nelson?
What does he get kicked out of UFC?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he does at all. And I tell you what, I'm gonna tell you something right now, Jack. I think it's some bull fucking shit.
Yep.
Listen, I think he was out of line like a motherfucker. Okay, you are not allowed to put your motherfucking hands or feet on the ref. And people say, "Oh, well, he thought Big John was taking too long." Guess what? I don't give a fuck what he thought. Okay, he ain't the ref. He ain't the judge. He's the fighter. Keep fucking hitting them, Big Country. That's not your job, bruh. And it motherfucking sure as shit is not your job to put your hands on somebody who is not there to fight. Okay, so listen, let me ask you all a question. A lot of people seem like, oh, well, it was just a little push kick. And don't get me wrong, it was just a little push kick. It wasn't no big deal. But I think that had the ref not been fucking big John McCarthy, what if it was that little fucking midget ref with the big arms, or that prick with the long curly cue? What if he kicked that fucking dude and dude does a nosediver right into the fucking thing? You know what I'm saying? Man, those dudes aren't fighters. They are the referee. You cannot put your fucking hands on them, bro. That is the ultimate no-no, man. Listen, I've heard a lot of people say they don't think that Roy should be cut from the UFC. I think he should be cut, period. I'm not saying for life, but yeah, bruh, you got to go work your way back. You ain't going to be the champion anytime soon. You done fucked up. You kicked the ref? Are you fucking high? And your reasoning is you don't feel like he did his job good enough? What are you, a cop? You kicked him because you felt like he didn't do his job good enough. That's not your decision, Big Country. You're not the fucking athletic commission. And even if he was right, you don't get to fucking kick him in his ass. What are you, his mama?
Yeah, and look, the whole thing was jacked up. But Dave, you saw that, man. What'd you think after the little push here? Now, look, I'm of the opinion. I kind of share Fred's opinion. I mean, if you're not gonna cut him, you got to make sure he feels that shit. But fair is fair. You got to cut him. You know what I mean, you can't let him, because look, Roy Nelson push kick, fine. Who's next? What happens next time somebody else does it? You're setting a precedent here, right? And they try to set it with Jason High. Now you got to kind of keep that going. So the UFC has a decision to make whether they want to send a message out like, yeah, go ahead and kick all the referees, fuck it. Or do they want to, put that message out like, look, you can't touch these guys. So Dave, what would you do? Let's put you in Dana White's shoes. What do you do?
Man, yeah, tough break for Roy, man. I mean, if I'm in Dana's position right now, everybody knows the hatred that Dana has for Roy. And, this is kind of like the last thing that they should have done in there. It just kind of happened, you know what I mean? He was fighting a guy who was a friend of his, he's familiar with, he's training with him. So I guess he has some dislike for John McCarthy. We've heard, a couple fighters be vocal, about preferring which referee they want in certain fights. I mean, I know we heard John and Cormier kind of go back and forth on that, but this time around, I think it's kind of, there was a little bit between Roy and John, and it ended up being that way. But kind of like you're saying about the Jason High situation, they set a precedent. They kind of have to go forward with possibly, dismissing Roy. It's a very good possibility. I mean, I could see him making the move to Bellator and be a heavyweight champion in one fight or two fights, but just the way it played out, it wasn't a good thing. Dana's pretty fucking heated about it, and like I said, as we all know, he doesn't like Roy Nelson, so yeah, he's put himself in a tough position. I think there's a good possibility he could be cut. I mean, he's been in the UFC long term. Everybody knows who he is. He's the gatekeeper at the heavyweight division in the UFC for a long time. So interesting to see what they do, what they end up doing with Roy. But in my position, I would probably cut him, and then there's Bellator for Roy after that, I guess.
Yeah. Now, Jesse, I know you have kind of a different opinion on this one. What do you think of this whole thing?
Yeah, but I think that the biggest thing here is that, and you're saying that this guy's my friend, I don't hurt him, blah blah blah. Okay, then walk away after you hit him. He said in his post-fight interview, I landed on you, he was out. Okay, then walk away. Oh, no, our kind of thing. Why didn't you do that? you know, if I don't, you're for sure it's over. Walk away then. Go celebrate. Go be happy. You know, do your thing instead of like, and then you know, you throw a punch, you throw another punch. He landed some heavy punches on his friend, quote unquote. You know, and he's saying, "Oh, you know, all those shots were unnecessary." Okay, then don't throw them. Just walk away. You know, make the referee do the job, and you know what's going on, right? Like Big John is pretty smart, and if you look at it, and look what happened. The thing was that he landed 3 or 4 punches. I mean, it was
Jesse, dude, you're going straight up like you're like you sound like the Terminator dying right now. You like the fucking connection's like super choppy. Hey,
listen, you know what? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can kind of dig what Jesse's saying though. Like basically what Jesse's saying is just stop punching him. If that was your homeboy like that and you knew the fight was over, just walk away and force the ref's hand. Here's a fucking newsflash for you. Don't take the fucking fight. When you asked Nick Diaz if he would fight Nate, what they say?
That's why you go fuck yourself.
They say.
I wonder how many fights Roy has left on his contract. That's another thing too. Or unless they just straight up cut him because he's coming off that win, but you've got to have like 3 or 4 more fights. I'm thinking on his contract.
I heard people making the comparison with Fabricio and Edmund Tavarian, you know, because he hit him with a little push kick or whatever. I think this is way worse than that. At least Edmund's a coach. Edmund used to fight. He trains fighters. And whether Big John used to do jiu-jitsu or not, the motherfucker's a ref.
Yeah.
He's a referee, dog. They are there to, like, control the action, man. You cannot put your fucking hands on a ref. He cannot be intimidated the next time he refs a big country fight. You feel me? Like, that shit has bigger implications, big country. You can't intimidate the ref, dog. Right. That's like you just there's no room for that. It's just like when Paul Daly sucker punched Josh Koscheck. We all love Paul Daly. We all love Paul Daly. He's a fun fighter. You fucked up in a major way, bruh. I listen. Yeah. Big Country is extremely fun to watch fight. He's got a fun personality. He fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, and at that point too, it's like, again, president, right? You can't allow right. Paul Daly has not even sniffed the UFC because of that shit. Not even sniffed a chance to get in the UFC. Okay, that little thing he did, he bit him in the ass. Is what it is. And you're right. You can't have referees going in there thinking, shit, if I call it this way, if I don't do the right thing, this fat motherfucker's gonna, kick me or hurt me, maybe worse this time. You know what I
mean? Well, right, exactly. Not to say that he would. I know that's an extreme circumstance, but I'm just saying you can't have the refs in there feeling like if they don't do something right, the goddamn big, scary, fat fucking heavyweight is going to lose their cool and attack them. Bruh, you cannot do that, man. And listen, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. I hate to be the cock-sucking asshole that brings race into it, but let's say it was John Jones that did that.
Oh,
let's say it was Kimbo Slice, for God's sakes. Let's say it was a scary-looking black man. Do you think they don't fire that motherfucker immediately? He's already in Bellator, Jack. Goddamn fat Big Country with his stupid beard and his funny hair and his fat Burger King belly. We're all like, well, what do we do? Fuck you mean what we do, man? You're out of here. Fucking don't pass go. Don't collect 2 bills. Terminated.
Yeah, you go do that belly rub shit in fucking Bellator. Real quick, shout out Nick Pilecki watching us on YouTube. Jeremiah, I haven't heard from Jeremiah in a while. What's up, man? Kasim's on here. Of course, Mike, Minnie, and Magbit on here. And Jeremiah brings this up. He goes, if you kick the ref in any other sport, you would be gone and maybe charges filed. 100% true.
Literally. And why, listen, why would this be any different? This is fucking fighting. If an NFL player or an NBA player pushes you or kicks the ref, they don't really know how to throw a kick. Big Country can fucking kill you with his bare hands, man. These guys are the scariest dudes on planet Earth. These are the last people you need putting your hands or feet on the fucking referee. It's just you cannot do it. And they've got to set a precedent. Everybody loves Big Country. We're sorry to tell you this, Big Country, but you now fight for Bellator or ONE FC, whatever you want to do. But we have to, this is where you what they call that. You set an example. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do not. I don't care what you think. You take that shit up with the commission afterwards, or Dana White, or scream at them. You do not put your finger on the referee, dude. Not on them.
Ever. You can't do it. It's a no-go. I mean, and honestly, I don't know. I'm assuming it's in a contract. Okay, I'm just thinking it is. But if it isn't, for sure, stop putting that shit in there.
It's a conduct policy for sure. Listen, if they can fire, who was it? They fired for fucking like homophobic tweets or some shit.
Torres? No, not Torres.
Yeah, no, it was Miguel Torres. It was rape.
Torres, yeah.
It was rape tweets, and they let Miguel Torres go because he tweeted something about a rape ban or some shit. It was right around a sensitive time with that. But listen, if they can let that motherfucker go for a joke on Twitter, yeah, homeboy, they can let you go for putting your foot in a rest, asshole.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the guy that lost his fight for once, because we haven't talked about that yet. Bigfoot, man, come on, how many more fights does this guy even have? Like, come on, we're done, right? I mean, I'm done. I'm not telling the guy to retire, but I'm done watching him. Every time I watch him, he's getting his ass whipped.
Yeah.
The UFC, he's done at the highest level, right? Listen, this is why Bellator should exist. And ONE FC even. Ryzen could probably have a shitload of fun with Bigfoot. He don't need to retire. He don't need to be fighting the elite no more. At least not for a while. He needs to prove. He needs to go back and work his way up. I don't think he needs to quit. I don't want to jump the gun on the man. He could probably compete with still, 90% of the heavyweights on earth. Just when you get to the UFC, you're in a fucking Shark Tank, man. I don't think he needs to be fighting there no more, for sure.
No, not at all. I mean, I would sell the Bigfoot Fedor rematch. I really would, because you could do that. I mean, unfortunately, they're kind of the same level, right, Dave?
Yeah, and then it's a TRT Bigfoot. I mean, it's different. Like you made the point of it, Eddie, talking about it, that, he's kind of a guy that needs the testosterone replacement. I mean, the guys, when he fought back in the day, the guy's got some pretty legit wins on his record. I mean, he's a huge fucking guy. I mean, Risen would be an ideal option for him, I think, or ONE FC. But I think I don't want to tell the man to retire. I mean, Bigfoot's, he got one of the nastiest KOs in UFC history over Alistair Overeem. So, I think we still there's some fight for Bigfoot out there, just not in the UFC.
And Mini Max says this: Bigfoot's manager said today he thinks he's going to Risen or Russia. And that'd be the move. That'd be the move.
Perfect, dog. Listen. With what Risen, whatever the fuck it is, with what they're trying to do, that crazy horse shit and that fucking nutty Gabby Garcia broad. Let me tell you something, Jack. Bigfoot's going to fucking fit in just right over there. Mm-hmm. They're going to pay him a lot of money. He's going to fit in perfectly. That's a perfect fit for Bigfoot.
Exactly. All right. Any other fights you guys want to talk about on this card? Because I can't pull it. Sherdog, because Sherdog will freeze his shit up.
Did you guys
happen on this card? Anything else happen special?
What's that?
Well, I had no idea the Renan Barão opponent, the Philip Novier. I had no idea the guy was a nurse. So they basically lined up Renan Barão against a nurse in Brazil. So I mean, he didn't look too impressive, but he looked good. He looked okay, but Novier didn't really do anything to him. But what do you guys think about Renan's performance, and what do they do with that cat going forward? Who's he matched up with next?
I think Renan did what he was supposed to do, sort of. I mean, did he finish the fight? He finished that fight, right?
He won a decision.
Oh, never mind. Barão just fell off notches. I thought that shit. No, for real. I mean, think about it. You just said it yourself. Barão in a nurse. Barão gets a nurse, whatever, male nurse, right? I mean, no brainer. Whoop his ass and move on. Now, the problem is Philip Nover is not a highly ranked guy, and Renan Barão was formerly a monster champion, and now obviously he's not. So, to me, there's such a thing as bad wins. Okay, if you beat somebody that you should finish in a violent manner, but you beat him by decision, that's a bad win.
28 too, as well on 2 cards.
That's a bad win. I mean, in my opinion, that's a bad win. So I don't know. What do you think, Fred?
Yeah, he's fell off a little bit. I'm just sitting here trying to think, man, who were some of his biggest wins? He had a win against Uriah, right?
I think twice or one. I think he fought him twice, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, man. I mean, it is kind of weird. He's had a kind of a slightly major fall from grace. I mean, he did win that fight, but one would expect him to win it a lot more convincingly than he did. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm willing to write him off just yet. I'll be really intrigued in his next fight, and I don't think you really lobbed him with a softball. At this point, I think you kind of throw him in there with somebody legit and just find out what the fuck's going on with him. You know what I'm saying? Give him some kind of a name, and let's see what's doing. Whether he's just shot. MMA is a very odd sport in that way, and there's no real reason, really. Like, what would you guys suggest is the reason that Henan fell off all of a sudden? He was this monster.
USADA.
Yeah, we got beat by TJ twice.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, me and Eddie talked about it. He sort of had like the Junior Santos thing happen to him, where he had 2 title fights within a year, and he got starched, and both of them pretty bad. So he sort of got the JDS treatment, and then he was never the same after that. And then if you guys want his notable wins, I think he has like a win over Brad Pickett, Eddie Wineland, like you mentioned, Eddie Uriah twice. He has some pretty good wins under his belt, but lately he hasn't been too good. Mitch Gagnon was his last win previous to this win over the male nurse. So
here's the thing.
I'll tell you what.
I mean, no, but who has knocked out the most Brazilians? USADA. USADA comes in the picture, and where are the Brazilians? Let's be honest, right? I mean, look, where are they? Okay, I'm not accusing anybody, but it's pretty fucking funny that USADA shows up, and all of a sudden everybody drops off. And I mean, everybody drops off. Who has hung on? I mean, I can't think of anybody. A Brazilian that hung on after USADA and killed. Eric Silva fell off, came back this weekend. Renan Barão, yeah, he lost twice to TJ and everything, but then he barely beat the nurse. Okay, I'm sorry, Nova. I got to give him respect for getting in the Nova, right? Jose Aldo KO'd in 13 seconds, looking flabby and weird as shit at the fight against Conor. Comes back and wins. What do you want? A decision against Frankie Edgar in the safest way possible? You know what I mean?
That was a pretty good win, though. Frankie's a beast.
No, don't get me wrong. It's a great win. But we're used to Jose Aldo fucking kneeing Chad Mendes in the face and ending that shit quick. You know what I'm saying?
Then Thomas Almeida got KO'd cold. He's another one that went out.
Thomas Almeida got KO'd. That's my point. Is look, I'm not saying I'm accusing anybody. I am saying that's weird as shit.
I love that. I love that. That's what I ain't really accusing nobody, but really I'm accusing all Brazilians of being juice heads. You know,
motherfucker, like you haven't done it, like you haven't said that shit on here.
Hey, but I don't disguise it, Jack. You're a cheater.
Hey, no, because I don't have any fucking evidence. That's why I only have the assumption that USADA came in, these fuckers all fell off. Okay.
Fuck it.
And to stay on the Jose Aldo deal, I mean, we got Jose Aldo requesting a release from the UFC guys after we all seen what happened and at the post conference. Let's start with let's start with Jesse.
Go ahead, dude. Tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really
get him out of here. Get him out of here. You know what? I'm sick and tired of his non-English speaking ass trying to fight for more money, trying to
Donald Trump.
He went off.
I'm gonna build a wall. He ain't gonna be able to get over that wall. The Brazilians are gonna pay for it. Nah, you know what? It just annoys me to no end when I hear somebody like complaining. All he has to do, his entire job right now, is to convince Conor to come to him. Piss him off, poke him. It doesn't take much. I mean, look at all the guys that have fought Conor. Mm-hmm. You know, a couple of them, all they have to do is just kind of look Conor's way and go, hey, what's up? And then that's it. Conor does the rest.
Look at Eddie at the conference, all he had to do was kind of, like you said, he talked shit about his glasses, and Conor popped off pretty good on him, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. Like, if you're Jose Aldo right now, what do? Okay, give me the next best guy. I'm going to beat him. And give me the next guy after that. I'm going to beat that guy too. And then I'm going to start, parading my belt and telling him he's got a fake belt. He has to come and take my belt and just piss him off, poke him and prod him until he comes back and, proves that he's the best. But this isn't the way to do it, man. I mean, the same thing with Roy. I mean, Roy and him have kind of been looking for reason to get cut. It almost seems like they're looking for reason to get cut from the UFC. And I think now's the time that the UFC should kind of shed some of the fat, quote unquote, and get rid of these guys. Crybabies.
Listen.
Go ahead, Fred.
Brazilian lives matter. Jesus.
Oh my God! Here we go.
You guys are like killing the Brazilian. Listen, Jose Aldo. I seen that cute little fucking prick Nick Baldwin put on fucking on Twitter earlier. Well, what is Jose Aldo really done? He just fucking beat Frankie Edgar convincingly. Who the fuck else can say they've done that in the last decade?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He said, "What has he really done?" What the fuck's he talking about? You're right, Frankie.
Well, I guess a lot of people. I guess a lot of people.
Yeah. No, dude, Frankie Edgar
I guess
twice,
a lot of people
right?
are kind
That's
of tired. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of people feel like he's backed out of fights and he hasn't done this and he hasn't done that. You got Jesus over here telling him to take a walk, and he doesn't speak English. That rubs Jesus the wrong way, which is ironic.
Hey man,
listen, man,
I learned the language. All right.
Shit.
He fought the top contender. Conor fucking, as much as I love Conor, he knocked him out with one punch. Jose wants the money fight, man. Like, I don't blame Jose for getting pissed. Look, Jose wanted Conor before they made him fight Frankie. And then he's like, all right, goddammit, I'll fight Frankie again. But after that, and then after Conor fights Nate, give me Conor. All the shit happens. He beats Frankie. Conor beats dude. And don't you know, Conor slides to 55 and takes a money fight with Eddie Alvarez. And then they fucking tell Jose, check it out. Max Holloway, the goddamn Hawaiian beast that ain't going to get you paid fuck all. I kind of get why he's a little
take
salty,
that title,
you know what
too.
I'm saying? He wants that rematch. It's a lot of money, and he low-key deserves it. He was listen, other than 8 seconds and one fucking punch, Jose is still the god of 45.
Especially with Conor. Yeah.
All told.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Conor.
You know what I'm saying? Conor lands that one punch.
Yeah.
Right. Especially since Conor hasn't defended the belt. So, listen, Jose's in a bad spot because he doesn't have any leverage, really.
Mm-hmm.
The UFC could cut him, and none of us would really cry, as sad as it is. But all due respect, he's got a legit gripe, man. The man just beat Frankie Edgar convincingly, and Frankie Edgar's no fucking small task for any human. So he's got a legit gripe.
And I maintain he beat him twice, and he beat Chad Mendes twice. Okay,
Right.
Like, what do you want him to do? I mean, okay, I forgot who you said fucking tweeted that out, but it's like, what do you expect him to do? You want wait because he didn't beat Conor, then he ain't done shit. This whole thing where like Conor's is new, especially with 145ers and 155ers. Like, if you haven't beat Conor, you ain't shit. Like, shut the fuck up. That's stupid. You totally throwing all his accomplishments away.
Jesse.
Dude, 10 years away. 10 years of not fucking losing a fight. You lose one in 8 seconds. It was about time.
And listen, and Jesse had made the point earlier that Jose just needs to goad Conor into taking that fight. Conor wanted the 55 fight so he can make history. Conor don't give a rat's fart about Jose right now. Jose,
yes, he does.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
Oh, come on.
Conor's chasing history, dog. He would have never passed up the 55 belt for Jose. Could have touched his wife's tits, and he still would have took that Alvarez fight, man. He wants history. That's what he's always wanted.
Right.
Maybe after this one, but not now.
I agree with that. He definitely wants the history, but you have to think the UFC has basically told him he's gonna have to give up one of these belts if he wins. All right, if he wins, and he's saying they're gonna have to bring an army to take away that belt. That means that he's willing to go defend that belt, right? So this is where Jose Aldo puts it on him and goes, "Hey, I got my army. It's just me. Come make sure you can keep that belt." Like, even goad him and saying, "Look, you don't even have the real strap. I have half, you have half." You know, like there's still like something for him to say in that instance. You know, he can still poke at Conor.
Yeah, I think that's
sure, but I just see why he wants the fight now. He don't want Max Holloway. He wants Conor now. He wants Conor at Madison Square Garden, and not fucking Eddie Alvarez, and not Max Holloway.
Yeah, I think that's why they're going to allow him to be the 145 champion leading into 205, because it sets up the Jose Aldo fight. Because if he does get beat by Eddie, I mean, that's going to be a huge fucking win for Eddie. But we all know that this fight was brewing up. I'm glad it came to fruition. I mean, this card is stacked up. I mean, what do you guys think? With Eddie Alvarez in a win, I mean, I was letting you guys know on Twitter that post this fight, I mean, a lot of people are really gonna possibly hate the outcome of it being on either side, whether it's McGregor winning 2 belts, because then it leads to other, bigger fights and crazier shit.
I don't think so, man.
What?
I don't think so. I think everybody comes out happy and smiling. Think about it. Okay, so let's say Alvarez beats Conor. Okay, so a lot of people get to see Conor get knocked out or get beaten again. A lot of people are happy about that. Or Conor wins 2 titles. The Irish people are gonna freaking go insane. They're gonna go insane. They're gonna like blow up New York, dude. Literally. So I'm just saying, like, I think you're thinking more of a hardcore stance. In the hardcore people, we know that if he wins, that just means he's got more power to leverage fights that probably don't make sense anymore. But the common fan, the fan that's going to push this over like 2 million buys probably, I mean, they're going to be happy either way. I mean, it's a win-win for them.
Yeah, and look, go ahead, Dave.
No, that's a good point though. Yeah, from a hardcore stance, absolutely. Because I think just with Eddie winning, I mean, what does that put Eddie? It puts him in a real good spot too as well. And with Conor still going to have that shine, he's still going to have that fight with Aldo, which is super big. And I think if Aldo just plays his cards right, if he's going to hang tight and not be pissy at the moment, because I agree with Fred. He's pretty much deserving of it. A lot of people are disrespecting, one of the best fighters in that division in the MMA period. So with that one loss being McGregor, I mean, they're giving McGregor rematches with Nate. I mean, Aldo deserves it. I agree to that. I see his point. I really do. But the 45 division is stacked. You can't hold these guys up. You got Max Holloway. You got guys like Yair Rodriguez. You got Brian TC Ortega. There's plenty of guys that are rising up. And I just always want to see the best fight the best. I mean, Max Holloway is the best guy right now at 145, and I think he deserves his shot. But I doubt that the Aldo fight happens before the end of the year. I think it's all going to unfold after UFC 205, whether it's Conor holding 2 belts or he's holding 1 belt, and under the new year after that.
All right, let's talk about this press conference. That's what everyone's asking for right now. Let's talk about the UFC press conference, UFC 205. First of all, as far as Eddie is concerned in this fight, if it's true that he didn't negotiate his pay for this one, that might be the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard a fighter do is not fucking negotiate. If he supposedly he's getting paid what he got paid last time, he got maybe $100K out of that fight. Okay, something like that. You're fighting Conor McGregor. He turns guys into millionaires, and you didn't negotiate that shit. What the actual fuck, dude? That is the dumbest fucking shit ever.
Could he negotiate it?
Yeah.
Is there a championship clause or something to where he couldn't negotiate? Is it stuck if you're a champ or something?
Well, no. if you're holding the belt that Conor McGregor wants, you got fucking chips, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. But it wasn't it weird that whole thing, how it came together, how what was it? They kept saying what was it? Khabib kept saying that he had a contract. He signed it and everything, but Alvarez was the one that, wasn't signing. Or what was the first story that came out, that he went past the time that he had to sign a contract?
Right.
And all those people that are sucking Dana White's teat over there, believing when he went on and no, Conor and Alvarez is not gonna happen.
Bullshit.
And everybody's like, see, it's not gonna happen. Woo! You guys are retarded. Obviously, you guys haven't been fans for long enough to realize that Dana White's a promoter and he's gonna lie his ass off, to tell the fans something to throw them off the scent. And a lot of people fell for it. But I think it was kind of weird that Alvarez was kind of holding out, and to hear that he didn't negotiate in that time that he supposedly held out, that's very, very stupid. But
it's the dumbest thing ever.
The other thing is, we don't know if Alvarez is like, hey, we'll renegotiate my contract after this fight. Because, if he comes in and he, knocks out, Conor, kind of like he did Dos Anjos. Right. I mean, he's got a chip to play, after that. So betting on yourself is not a bad thing, but it's also not a smart thing on this end. He could be making Nate Diaz money at this point.
Yeah. Listen. Maybe he didn't give a fuck because he's getting the Conor fight and he's getting points on the pay-per-view. Who's fucking
points,
doing,
maybe, yeah.
You know who's doing a goddamn rain dance right now?
RDA.
Tyron Woodley.
Oh yeah.
Tyron Woodley. He just made like an extra $2 million just for showing up because Connor's on the card. And fucking Johanna. All the champions on the card are like fucking A.
By the way,
we get a piece of that. And Connor just brought in a major bit of money for all those cats, man. So Eddie's probably thinking, hey, whatever. Pay me whatever you got to, because I'm gonna probably make another fucking 300-400K. Fuck, maybe more than that. And if I beat this prick, the sky's the limit.
It's true.
So, and listen, what happened to the last prick that tried to get cute with his contract? Mr. Al Iaquinta. That motherfucker's selling real estate in Long Island now. So maybe Eddie Alvarez was like, all right, cool. Just get me Connor and sign me up.
Okay. But you're under the assumption that Eddie Alvarez is making good money. I mean, looking at what he reportedly got from his last fight when he won the title, that's not a lot, man. 150 flat. I mean, no win bonus.
No win bonus.
That's not good, man. That's horrible money. I mean, maybe he's thinking that he's gonna get the extra money on the pay-per-view points since he's a champ, but man, that's.
Well, I'm sure that's what he's thinking. That's
he should have definitely negotiated a little bit on this one.
His interesting point that Mania Max said on YouTube. He goes, it was as if Alvarez was given an ultimatum: fight Conor for the same pay at Madison Square Garden, or fight Khabib next for the same pay.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's probably what the alternative was. Except with Conor, you get an extra $200-300 grand in pay-per-view bonus points. Because as much as we like Khabib, if that was the fight that got announced for New York City, the headliner, we'd all be like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, like, yeah.
We'd be excited, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but don't you think that card is gonna do banger numbers either way? Like I think no matter what, that card is gonna do numbers. Not Brock Lesnar, not GSP numbers, but it's gonna do decent enough to, if you got pay-per-view points, you're gonna be pretty happy. Of course, now that Conor's on there, I mean, yeah, it's red penny night all freaking weekend.
Everybody,
but it's like
it makes it's probably a fucking literally $250,000 swing for Eddie Alvarez fighting Conor.
Yeah,
and
probably.
Fighting, you know what I'm saying?
If it was if it was Khabib though, I probably likely wouldn't have been the main event. I mean, they probably would have moved Woodley and Wonder Boy to the main event. If it was Khabib.
That speaks volumes to what this pay-per-view, like the number of pay-per-views that it would have sold otherwise without being Conor. Listen, everybody's happy. Let me tell you something. Khabib's on the card, and he's probably happy
Fuck yeah, he is.
in this fight because it's more eyes for him. And if Conor wins, look, tell you something. Side note, right quick. Khabib is my dude. First off, I had just heard, I think Luke Thomas said on his show that somebody had told him that the UFC offered to pay Khabib his whole check and the win bonus to not fight because he was, how they played him or whatever. But he said he wanted to fight on the card and he wanted a big fight. So he chose to fight Michael Johnson. Listen, that is fucking brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant. Because if
they wanted him on standby mode. Yeah, that's correct.
Well, and if not, even if nobody gets hurt or nothing, he performs on the same card, the same night. Let's say he has a dynamite performance and finishes Michael Johnson. If he gets on that mic and
oh shit. No, he got a phone call. He got a phone call. Hang on, he'll figure it out.
No.
He'll figure it out. Hang on. You got a phone call. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
There it is.
I got a phone call. Fuck that shit. Yo, listen, if he says, fuck both those sissies, whoever wins, I want that motherfucker next. I was actually going to pose the question to you guys earlier. If Khabib wins and Conor wins, hypothetically, and Khabib calls out Conor and they have this whole thing on the same night, do you think a fight with Khabib at 55 would be bigger even still than Conor going back and fighting Jose at 45 at that point?
Fuck yes. Fuck yes.
So I feel bad for Jose,
for sure.
dog. Jose's going to take it up the fucking tailpipe, man. Because honestly, I definitely think that Khabib will beat Michael Johnson. And y'all know I'm pulling for Conor. So if those two things happen, that's a fight stylistically match made in heaven. Jose's just going to get it again, dog, which sucks. Yeah,
but I mean, again, though, think about that. So Jose Aldo, he's a pretty smart guy. I mean, obviously, he's smart enough to be making the money and all that stuff, his sponsors and all that. I think he's smart enough to see the writings on the wall. And if anything, if you're smart enough to see the writings on the wall, you know I might as well take a fight, cash a paycheck, stay relevant. Because if he stays in the background, Khabib wins that fight, and then puts a little bit of noise, bam, it's over. Now you're second in line. Oh wait, now he was talking smack to Jeremy Stevens. Oh, now you're third in line. Oh, now you're fourth in line because some other people are gonna step up and see, hey, I can win the Conor lottery by talking, and as long as Conor engages me,
listen.
That's it.
Yeah, anybody with
On a
the
side
big win
note-
on that 205 card, anybody with a big win, they're gonna call Conor McGregor out.
Oh yeah, the whole night.
On a side note,
real quick, Joanna Champion or Carolina wins, they're calling out Conor McGregor too. But go ahead, Fred. I know where you're going.
Yeah. Listen. I will be fucking skin diamond before Jeremy Stevens fights goddamn Conor McGregor. Okay. I'll get to see him Punk fight before fucking Lil Heathen gets that Conor fight. But good fucking kudos with that. Is this guy? What a fucking shitbird, right? He got fucking fight before he even got close to getting it.
Yeah,
dude. He went off saying a bunch of shit. And like, you TKO guys. When I hit guys and knock them out, they don't get up. And then he goes, "Who the fuck is that guy, dude?" That line, dude. Jeremy Stevens went off for a good minute and a half, almost 2 minutes of just yapping. With one line, Conor destroyed him. And the best part was seeing that Carolina chick laughing her ass off. That's what everybody else did, me included. I fell over laughing when he said that shit. I was like, "What the fuck, Jeremy? You need to shut the fuck up, dude."
Yeah,
I was genuinely embarrassed for him when I seen that. I got red faced. It's like, oh shit, Jeremy. Oh fuck, that's bad, dog. Like,
he hasn't had a knockout in 3 years. I don't know where that shit even came from. So it's bad.
True.
That's true too.
That's
true too.
But again, we're what is it, Dave? You always call it the Hollywood effect, right? We're starting to get that people are starting to understand. Fighters are starting to understand that the way to make the money is to follow the Chael Sonnen / Conor McGregor model, which is get yourself on the spotlight and then say something stupidly ridiculous.
Listen,
even if you get destroyed.
Morris effect. Yeah, right.
Listen.
Yeah.
You do
there
that,
you go.
but you do not do that with Chael Sonnen or Conor McGregor. Jeremy, you do that to Frank Yeager. You don't do it to C-Mac, baby.
I don't know if you guys mentioned it already, but my favorite part of that whole press conference was when Conor and Eddie Alvarez started going back and forth. I don't know if you guys saw was it Wonder Boy?
Dana?
No, Wonder Boy
and Dana.
Oh, it was, huh?
Yeah,
they both started pulling away the bottom.
Here's the thing. So Wonder Boy starts smiling, and he starts dragging the one monster can out of the way. Like, I think it was his. He just drags his and the water bottle away, right? And then Dana, somebody made a fucking video of Dana White standing at the podium, right, with Conor and Eddie talking to each other, and then all of a sudden it pauses, and then Dana goes to a flashback of Conor throwing cans at Nate Diaz, and then he comes back, and Dana goes, walks over, he takes the can of Monster away just in case he gets crazy. And then nobody else caught that. Nobody caught that. And I'm sitting there on Twitter going, did anybody else see that shit? Because I saw that shit and it was awesome.
And a lot of people were also there getting behind that journal, or who's the guy that was attending the Q&A, or the Matt Maria guy. I guess everybody was rallying behind him because he's the one that, he called out Alvarez and that whole deal. So so we touched on everything that happened there. But that guy was at the conclusion of the
Yeah, and Eddie should have shut the fuck up with the whole. What was your question? And Conor played it perfectly. His question was, "Why are you talking shit?" And I was like, "Oh no, Eddie, why the fuck you do it?"
Brilliant. I don't know if Conor put that dude there, or if that dude was just a rabid McGregor fan, or what that was.
Dana picked him.
I gotta say, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. True. Dana picked him. Right.
I don't care. I was laughing my ass off. I don't give a fuck what
Conor's like he's in a tie and a suit too. I fucking love it.
Yeah, dude, and that was and then the thing too was it still seems a little scripted on Conor's part. Some of his shit talk still seems scripted, but he did pretty good overall as far as talking shit. But again, and you know what? It's funny. I was listening to Fox Sports. I was listening to Colin Cowherd, and he has this fine ass co-host named Christine Leahy, and she goes, "This seems a little WWE to me," and she doesn't watch fighting. She doesn't watch MMA at all. She watches it just because you just talk about it on the show a little bit, right? But
Yeah.
she was talking about this season a little more WWE. So now these other fighters that we were talking about a second ago that you need to talk shit, right? Jeremy Stevens, all these other guys are starting to understand that they need to do some of that WWE shit to get paid. You know what I mean?
I've heard that.
I
from people
don't.
about the WWE stuff, like people that are like whatever average MMA fans. I've heard people run that by me plenty of times, like in the recent couple of weeks. So she's seeing the shit that they see, and then it's kind of like the McGregor deal. Like people pretty much know when McGregor has like a fight brewing up, but now it's been more consistent. So definitely on that note.
Go ahead, Fred.
Fuck are these people? Listen, does everybody here like Hulk Hogan? Hulk Hogan kicks ass, right?
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a fucking cunt, Jesus. Of course you wouldn't like the fucking
He's a racist.
Hulkster.
He's a racist.
Of course he's a racist. I don't mean the real Hulk Hogan. I mean goddamn Hulkamania. Running wild, brother. Listen, the Ultimate Warrior, the fucking Undertaker, the WWF, man. That shit was entertaining.
Yeah.
I see all these people that go, oh my God, Connor's turning MMA into the WWF. Man, great. Do you motherfuckers know what the E stands for? Entertainment. As long as the fights don't become phony or fixed and we have no worry of concern for that, then I fucking love it. Jesus Christ. As long as they actually got a bang at the end.
Yeah, they actually got
I don't give a fuck. Oh, everything else is just fluff, man. People get so offended. Our sport's so pure. They're making it like WWF and I don't like it. Stop being such a pussy. They're going to fight.
But all the people mentioning that though, Fred, they're watching though. That's the key thing about it though. They're watching.
Exactly. So stop being such a hypocrite purist and such a crybaby and such a whiner all the goddamn time, man. It's entertaining. Let them boys do their thing. Now, for the people like Jeremy Stevens that try to hammer it up when they don't need to, them boys need to just chill out and fight.
Man, that was so bad.
Those hardcore fans, those fucking hipster MMA fans that get annoyed because Connor's making A seem fucking like the WWE. If you confuse MMA with the WWE at this point in the game, you're a fucking retard. You're a moron if you legitimately think like MMA is set up or a joke or the two are even remotely related. They're not, clearly. What the fuck? One is real fucking fighting and one is a complete fucking joke.
But you know what?
Like, he's not damaging anything.
You know what, Fred? The thing that I've encountered people that are just retarded, like you said, just so dumb because they're like, oh, the UFC is fixed and everything is scripted and all this stuff. But here's the thing that you pointed out. You pointed out something very, very unique. You can ask pretty much any MMA fan, hey, who's Ultimate Warrior? Who's Bret Hart? Who's all this stuff? We were all fans. We were all fans, dude, and we all remember that era. There's not a single one of us that can claim that we don't remember that. And that feeling of these guys that were like basically superheroes, and entertained us and all this stuff. Why? Like, I agree with you. Why is it such a bad thing that we get that in this sport? And like you said, where we know that at the end, someone's gonna have to, pony up and say, "Hey, you know what? I talked all this crap and I got knocked out, or I got beaten." I mean, it just makes the sport better. It makes the sport better, and it brings all those eyes.
In the beginning, like, that was almost kind of the cool thing about MMA. It was like the real life WWF. These were like the real badass motherfuckers on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? It was like the real WWF. That's what made it fucking like cool, man. It was like the WWF except for real. Fucking
and look, I stopped watching wrestling when The Rock retired. You want to know why? Because The Rock was funny as fuck. Okay, when you're making fun of the boss's daughter's tits and you're in the middle of a ring, you throw people around, talk about Stephanie McMahon's tits, and he's singing a song shit talking Cleveland, and he's singing a song shit talking Sacramento. All that shit's funny. With me, you sell funny, I'm your fan. I'm a fan, right? That's why Conor McGregor, I don't hate Conor McGregor. I dislike a lot of his fans that have no idea of anything outside of Conor and are basically brand new fans, right? They came in because of Conor. That's about it. But other than that, like, I like Conor because he's funny. I like funny. I'm a big fan of funny. If you can make me laugh and you can kick ass, dude, you're a star. And how The Rock turned, talking shit in WWE into a career where he's a mediocre actor at best. Okay, but his movies make bank.
Whoa.
Talk with the best of them. Right? Come on, to name one good movie that The Rock made.
The Rundown.
Get the fuck out of here with that shit. I will hate that.
Okay,
I will hate
listen,
watching that.
Fast Five.
We gotta wrap this up. I gotta go.
All right, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I gotta go. I gotta go in general. So I gotta. Are we
All right,
wrapping
dude.
it up?
We're gonna talk about a couple more things. I think. What do we got?
What we got? Anything important?
The fight card coming up on Saturday. Any interest there, Fred?
Okay, let's talk about a little bit. Just one thing of Ryzen, and after we talk about Lineker Dawson. Lineker Dawson again, two of the heaviest hitting bantamweights out there. Bantamweights, right? Yeah, bantamweights out there. When Lineker makes weight, which actually he's gotten better at. But two heavy hitters, man. Someone could actually get knocked out. Two little tiny guys fighting. Fred, what do you think?
One of the most exciting fights you could. Is it at flyweight?
No, 135.
35.
Fuck yeah. Okay, so a couple of fat flyweights, huh? That's interesting. Yeah, no. It's a really exciting fight, though, right? For any of the littler guys, this is probably one of the most exciting striking affairs you could put on with the littler guys. Somebody's probably going to get knocked out. I would give Lineker a slight edge with the power and probably Dodson a slight edge with the speed. They usually say that speed kills, so let's say Dodson probably lands first, early and often, gets the knockout, first, second round.
All right. And what do you think about Ryzen, just in case you got to fly out of here in a second?
Oh, yeah, I do got to go. What do you mean, just like overall?
Overall, like, did you catch any of it, and what do you think?
Yeah, I caught pieces of it. I don't know, man. Listen, we were talking a little bit about ONE FC before we went on.
Yeah.
Ryzen is easy to chalk up as a joke. The Gabby Garcia thing was crazy. I saw the Crazy Horse fight, which was fun. You know what I mean? He got that crazy knockout. And then they just booked Krokop versus Vanderlei. There's some weird kind of old school pride feel to it, so it's kind of fun. And listen, at this point in the game, the UFC's got 90% of all the stars. So and Bellator's got all the scraps. So at this point, if you're not one of those two, you've got to take the freak show route. So I'm down with Ryzen, man. They're doing what they can, right? Like, what do you go? You could be ONE FC and try to be legit and get guys who might be about something on the upcome that just nobody gives a fuck about. Or, you sign Gabby Garcia and fucking Krokop and just Fedor, every other fucking trick you can pull and gain some interest. I mean, let's see Bigfoot go to Ryzen. It'd be perfect. It'd be perfect. Okay, listen, I got to go. I fuck with Ryzen, though.
All right.
Great show, guys. I will talk to y'all later.
All right, how you going, man?
Later, fellas. Yeah.
No, not on the Bigfoot thing, man. I mean, come on. That guy's been knocked out so many times that guy needs to go. Be I don't know. Be a freak show in something, or just make movies or something, man. He can't be fighting anymore.
Get paid. Ryzen gonna pay you. You're gonna go.
Is he gonna take the Bob Sapp route where he's just gonna walk in there, get hit once, and drop down and just kind of cash a paycheck?
Is Bob Sapp broke?
Kind of.
Well, but he's not broke.
I have a Bob Sapp slot machine.
That's true. See, there you go. You could do that.
Market that shit.
Get that Bigfoot Silva slot machine.
I'll tell you what. One fight they need to add to Ryzen sometime soon is CM Punk against Fred Kirby, because we know CM Punk. Come on. You don't want to see that shit.
We don't want to see that butchering. Poor CM Punk. You're gonna get him beat up twice.
Fred's gonna fuck him up.
Hey, you know what? Just to point out the whole Ryzen thing, really quickly. They do have low key good fights. Mm-hmm. It's just that nobody knows about them.
No one got to see them. Nobody got to see them. They're early in the card, way early.
Yep. I mean, if you look at the Kyra Batira fight, she took a beating in that fight, and she put a beating on that chick.
Yeah.
A decision loss for her, but I mean, she's one of those fighters that we gotta low key keep an eye out, because training with Eddie Bravo, that 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu style, and her style of fighting is just perfect for you kind of like what's the girl that you're obsessed with, Eddie?
What?
your favorite girl in the whole entire world. Didn't she just get signed too? Yeah, there you go. She got signed, right?
Yeah, UFC.
They kind of have that same kind of style of like just go forward, really exciting type of fight. And I think, you know, that's the bad thing about Ryzen is that all those fights got pushed down to the bottom where nobody really heard about it. And then at the top, they have these freak show fights that, you know, it just kind of makes it a mockery of everything. But, you know, Ryzen doing their damn thing, gave Vanderlei Silva that bye. So now he's in the second tier of the competition against Krokop. So, I mean, it's just weird all around now.
Yeah, and I don't know. Ryzen has been weird, but watching the Gabby Garcia fight, I was laughing my ass off again. I'm like, who the fuck thinks this fight is even close to anything other than just a freak show? And so I immediately thought, fuck it, Gabby Garcia against Cyborg, make it happen. Why not? For real, why not? And you know what? Forget the weight. Just call it a fight. Go. Weigh whatever you want to. Just go. That's what I would do. For real. It's like, I mean, people would tune in. Look, if you like, we're talking about the WWE thing, right? If UFC starts promoting Gabby Garcia, a massive chick that beats the shit out of bitches. I mean, Gabby Garcia's already been on the Ultimate Fighter on the Brazil one, but you know, still. And you bring that chick in, he goes, she's gonna fight Cyborg. Tell me people are not gonna pay pay-per-view money like as a third fight on the card or even a co-main. Let's say like UFC 206 or some bullshit, right? Yeah. And make it like the co-main. You don't think people are gonna tune in? I'm watching that freak show. I am paying to watch that freak show. Okay, I just want to see what happens when two massive Brazilians fight and they're chicks and they're both clearly cheating on some shit or used to cheat on some shit. I'm just saying, like that to me is entertaining.
Wait.
Still.
Used to? You mean at least one of those is still on it because that chick is huge.
Look, Gabby Garcia got bigger than she. Last time we said she weighed in for the first Ryzen event, she was way skinnier than this time. This time she was big as fuck, and she was landing knees on that chick. I felt bad for her. I felt bad for the chick getting kneed. And like, you did not want to see Gabby Garcia's ass flapping out of those fucking shorts, but she was sending those knees way too hard, and that's all you got to see was a camera full of ass. And I'm like, oh, dude, because it's you think, because even if you see that the second that camera turns around to see her face, you're like, ooh.
She's as big as Brock Lesnar, though, no doubt about it.
Yeah, she's a big chick, man. I mean,
she's big, dude.
Like, I don't know if they made her cut or not, but fuck it, don't make Cyborg or her cut. Just say it's a fight. Go, just go. See what happens, all right? Let's see. Let me catch up on the YouTube comments because I've been ignoring them a little bit. Okay. Minion Max said, talking about Aldo, saying 13 seconds against Conor, and all of these fans forget he was undefeated in 10 years. One of the pound-for-pound best and potential Hall of Fame candidate at one time, or greatest of all-time candidate. They talked about he was the greatest of all time for a little while, right?
I think he could still make the case, but like I said, his whole way of going about it is just what annoys me. It's not
whiny.
His style.
It's whiny.
Yeah, it's not his fighting. It's like Al Iaquinta. His style of fighting is exciting, but the way he went about trying to get more money, more contract, just stupid.
That was it. I find it annoying because I'm like, dude, it's not like you're a superstar, dude. You're entertaining, but cut the shit. But I mean, even then, he has kind of legit gripe too, for the most part. What else we got? Jeremiah says Conor gives two fucks about Aldo, and Conor took the Eddie fight because he wants more than anything to be a 2-division champ. 100%. He just wants to look. That's what I'm telling you. I said in the tweet the moment the fight got announced. I said Conor just wants to be a 2-division champ for one night, and he'll drop that 145 belt like it's nothing. All right, he can say all he wants about they're gonna need an army. Yeah, I'm sure that army's gonna consist of Dana White. All right, he's gonna come up, give him that hand over the belt.
Unless you mean Dana White with a check?
There you go. Well, hey, whatever gets it done, right? If Conor McGregor's all about money, why the fuck not? Mike Jarvis makes a good point. He says, because I was talking about Gabby Garcia being all fugly and shit. He says that's no way to talk about the Queen of Japan. At the end of the fight, she bellows that out, sounding like goddamn Godzilla. She's like, "I'm the Queen of Japan." I'm like, "Oh my god, this bitch has lost her goddamn mind." No, you're not. Stop it. You're fucking insane.
The Japanese must love her because they love big. They love humongous things. They love big things. If you're tall, go to Japan. You're gonna be a movie star over there. Seriously.
Yep. And the funny thing is, I'm 5'11". I'd be a movie star immediately. I'm just telling you, I would be. So, well, Dave, you need to make a trip, bro. Like I'm telling you,
Then you just say you're Kelvin Gastelum and bam, superstar.
Dude, it's on. They'll give me a rising fight against some no name. I'll beat the fuck out of him. I'll make some money. They'll be like, hey, what up?
Eddie, that fight that I mentioned earlier, that Claudia Gadelha, she's booked against Courtney Casey. So Casey's up 2 wins. So that was the bout that I just seen it earlier in the day.
Courtney Casey. Why does that sound familiar?
She came in on like late notice against somebody recently, I think.
Yeah, she has 2 recent wins, so they're trying to. That's I don't know how soon they're looking to get Cyborg back in there, but back to the Cyborg thing. I mean, yeah, they gotta possibly get her a big fight soon, most likely in Brazil. So that card, maybe.
You know what? You know what though? I think the smartest thing to do with Cyborg, unless there's a real big reason that we're not talking about. And I'm not throwing anything out, but maybe there's a reason why she's in Brazil. But I would think the best way to cash in on Cyborg, if you're going to put her in a big fight, is put her either in LA or Vegas.
Oh, they're going to say fight again.
That's where
Yeah, I think it'd do well. Absolutely. Both. Yeah, LA and Vegas, because she's out of LA training, that's where she trains at. She's got a pretty big fan base. I think ideally both those venues would be perfect. And the opponent would have to be perfect though too. They'd have to really think long and hard, I guess, who they decide what kind of name value they decide to give her. But she'll get a name, somebody big, I think. I have a feeling.
Hey man, if I'm Joe Silva, I smoke a fat joint tonight and book her in like Oklahoma. just cause fuck it. Let's see what happens. All right, bitch. You think you're a draw? All right, Oklahoma. In like some middle of nowhere, like Don Matos' backyard, Oklahoma. That's where you put her. And fight in the backyard.
You put her in Utah on a Sunday card. Bam.
Oh, dude, and no beer.
That's tough.
Sucks.
That's a tough one.
You know how much I would have to drink to watch that chick fight live, and then have to admit to myself that I paid money for these tickets. Like, I'm not saying I hate Cyborg, but I'll say this: I would not pay to go watch her. I'm just saying, she's a fighter where nothing makes sense about her. Okay. The whole fucking used to take roids and shit. And she was like, oh, I didn't know, but you knew. You fucking knew. Second, there's no way you didn't know. Come on. And then second of all, and more recently, okay, we all know that Cyborg's been slowly but surely getting better at English, but she is not good enough to quote a Tupac fucking lyric in her last tweet. Did you see that shit? Tell me one of you saw that shit. I know you saw that shit, right, Dave?
I seen it, yeah.
Yeah, she said, has anyone actually seen Ronda Rousey or heard? Has seen it coming out of her mouth? And she put the letter N-E in the number 1. Has anyone seen Ronda Rousey call me out? And then she goes, say my name 3 times like Candyman. I'm like, bitch, come on. That's not you. Who's controlling your shit? Do you have a new agent or new manager? Is it Ali? Is that what's going on? Is Ali tweeting for you, bitch? Is that what's going on? Because I know it's not RDA, because RDA's English is awful. Or it's serviceable, but it's still awful. Fucking Verdum's English is apparently. His Spanish is way better than his English, okay? Let's be honest. All right. And it's got to be like an intern or Ali's doing it. And Ali's gotten caught before plenty of times, all right? Remember, I think he got busted fucking tweeting for Frankie Edgar, and that was hilarious. And then people called him out on it. No, it wasn't. I'm like, dude, this is the new age of the internet. Everything is screen cap.
Did he say something like he was confused? I was trying to promote something for my fighter, and I got confused on whose account I was on. Like,
That dumbest thing ever. Not to mention, she's also one of those, like, Cyborg's account is one of those that, what's that fucking website? I can't remember that silly little website. Not even little, because, I mean, we're not that big either, but it's a website that constantly.
Intim Sports? What is it?
That shit.
Yeah. They
fucking buy fighters' Twitters and, like, tweet out of there. Now, hey, if that's your marketing, go for it. It's not dumb. It's actually kind of smart because they already have a following, and someone's going to click on that shit. But, like, Jake Shields has been doing it forever. Like, I stopped following Jake Shields on Twitter because of that shit. You know what I mean? Not that he had anything interesting to say to begin with, but, you know.
Oh, come on, man.
He didn't. Come on. So, anyway, but Cyborg, you know, that whole thing that she tweets out, like, you won't believe what so-and-so did. And then link, I'm like, you really clickbaited me? Like, do you have that much time in your fucking day to clickbait me? Get the fuck out of here. And then you realize some website paid for that shit. So, I mean, look, whatever you got to do to get money, I guess.
On that same note, or same coach, I guess you could say, Jason Perillo. I don't know if you guys caught Michael Bisping's interview. I guess we're kind of, I mean, I know we got Portland this week, but we got a big title fight in Manchester the following week. Word has it that Bisping's taking the same approach to this fight against Rockhold. He pretty much has like a 2 or 3 week short camp, and he's going into the bout. You know, like he had a movie, I guess he was making, so he pretty much just had a similar camp, a training regimen. leading into him taking the title from Rockhold. So I want to hear what you guys think about his approach like that, and him stating that, you know, previous in all his bouts and all of UFC, he's always learned a little something, but he knows now that, you know, for him to be at his best, at his peak performance, he feels that ideally a short camp benefits him, and which he, you know, took the title from Rockhold in impressive fashion. So what do you think about that one? Start with Jesse.
Man, I totally agree with that. I forgot who man, I listen to so many podcasts. As you guys know, I drive around all the time. But I remember just recently I was listening to a podcast, and one of the fighters was saying that he shortened his camp because he felt that having a longer camp hindered him, that he would peak too early. And I think we're going to see that a lot of these fighters are going to start to whittle down their camps. I think maybe we'll still see like a 12-week camp, but I think 6 of those weeks is probably going to be just conditioning, just getting into fight shape. And, you know, basically, you know, like technique and all that, nothing too hard. And I think the last like 6-5, you know, weeks, it's just going to be honing it in. And I think it's actually probably better. I mean, look at Robbie Lawler for a while, you know, when he was saying he wasn't sparring and all that stuff. I mean, he gave his brain a rest, saved those knockouts for the fights. And I mean, look at the success he had. I mean, look at Cowboy. Cowboy's another guy that, you know, once he got his mental game down, you know, it was just about, you know, getting everything finely tuned to the point where he just has to perform, you know, which is, you know, jumping off topic, which is one of the biggest things I think is the problem with the Irish Dragon over there. His mental state is just not where it needs to be the guy that we all know he could be. I mean, that elbow that he took on the ground, I mean, he should never have been there. I mean, his striking is way, way, like, far above that to be taken down like that and, you know, beat up like that. I mean, but again, I think we're going to see a lot more fighters kind of wise up and save all that head trauma for the cage. Because, I mean, you know, going back to Bigfoot Silva, he's taken way too many knockouts, and who knows how many knockouts he gets in training. You know, who knows, you know, how often he gets, you know, lit up in training, and it's just showing. I mean, what was it? 6 out of his last losses, they're all knockouts. So, I mean, you get your lights shut off 6 times in 6 fights. I mean, that's kind of worrisome, man.
That's pretty bad. Right. Now, here's the thing about this, man. Michael Bisping, I mean, look, there's 3 guys whose cardio is ridiculous in the entire roster. Nick and Nate Diaz and Michael Bisping. His heart rate per minute is...
What about Frank Yeager?
Yeah, Frank Yeager's not... Look, man, throw him in there if you want. But anyway, yeah, you're right. I never seen him really get tired ever, even against Frankie or against Aldo when he went all 5 rounds. He didn't really get tired. Huh?
Nah, not even when Maynard put him almost to sleep.
And he still went. You're right. Throw Frankie in there. But Michael Bisping's heart rate per minute is ridiculously low. He's barely alive sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's not like he has to get in shape, right? He's always in shape. I mean, he's been proven. So he goes in there healthy, fresh, and without getting beat up. That's money. It's good. You get to go. You know what I mean? Why do a 12-week camp or some bullshit like that and get fucked up and possibly injured, you know what I mean, and tired and gassed out and everything, and then, you know, go in there and get smoked because of it. You know what I mean? I mean, every time we see a fight, look, Nate just went in there and he couldn't take Conor McGregor down because his knee was messed up and he had ribs, according to his coach, of course, right? We don't really know for sure. We haven't seen any evidence, right? But that's what he said. And that's a full fight camp. You know what I mean? He came into the other one, choked out Conor McGregor on a fucking 11 days notice. He had no camp and he beat him. So you guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, you go in there fresh, uninjured, money, good to go for it. Why not? I mean, not to mention, all you got to watch out for is shuffle, H-bomb. That's literally all you have to worry about with Hendo.
According to Bisping as well, too, or from what he's hearing, he's saying that Dan Henderson, word has it that he's been pretty lazy, I guess, in his camp, or he hasn't been looking good. So according to the count and his inside sources or his spies or whatever he has, that's the rundown on that bout. And
I'll tell you what, dude. When you if you ever quit a job and you give a 2 weeks notice, did you even try those last 2 weeks? Fuck no. Okay, hell no. Hendo already said, "This is it. I'm out. Win or lose, I'm out." He's not trying. Yeah. He's just like, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna throw my overhand right. Hopefully it lands. If it doesn't, whatever, I get paid. I'm going off in the sunset with my hot ass chick. Done.
I'll tell you what though, Henderson. he's a guy you can't count out ever.
Ever,
I mean,
ever.
and I think a lot of people are kind of putting a little bit too much stock in the fact that, you know, he's kind of retiring and all that. He's talked about retiring before. I think he really wants to walk out of here with that win. I mean, that would pretty much cement his legacy, right? I mean, he has a championship in Pride. He had one in Strikeforce, right? Didn't he have a Strikeforce strap at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the only one that has eluded him ever since then is the UFC one. So I mean, I think we're gonna get a decent try, you know, as much as we can out of Dan Henderson. I just think his age is what's catching up to him. I mean, like you just mentioned, Eddie, shuffle, H-bomb. That's pretty much what we've seen recently, you know. I mean, at his age, and you know, his age, what is he, like 40 something?
42?
46.
46. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, he's pretty old, man.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I mean, and you got to think of all the wars he's been in and everything. I mean, he's probably pushing like 80 in fight years, you know.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we're gonna see an exciting fight. I think it's gonna be pretty relevant, just because of the fact that you got two fighters that know each other pretty well. They have a history together, and they're both have aged out of the sport finally. You know, I mean, you know, even though Bisping's cardio is probably one of the best in the UFC, I mean, age is catching up with him, man. You know, he's even talked about it before, how he says he's not, you know, snapping, getting up in the morning and all that stuff. You know, it's just age is catching up with him. The same thing with Chael Sonnen. I mean, you listen to what Chael Sonnen's been talking about recently. You know, age is caught up with him. That's probably why he's trying to look for, unfortunately, kind of an easy fight with Tito Ortiz. You know,
Yeah.
because Tito is also a guy that has a lot of miles on his body, and you saw his last fight against Bonner. I mean, it wasn't a very athletic fight. You know, it was a pretty sloppy fight between two guys that were, you know, at their peak performance, at their current state. You know, so
yeah, I think we can all agree to this, that the Bisping Hendo bout that we're looking forward to is going to end in a storybook ending on either side.
Yeah.
Because Bisping's got a long career. His trek to the title, I mean, unexpectedly getting the shot against Rockhold, putting him away when, you know, Luke was pretty much looking unbeatable as he shredded up Weidman. We've seen, you know, Dan get some hella good wins this year. So I guess that just goes to show that, you know, if you raise enough scuff with the fans, we can pretty much, you know, we can make any fight happen. So exciting to see that bout take place in Manchester, because, yeah, I'm a long-time Bisping fan myself, but hey, Hendo's a legend, so I think we're pretty much going to see a movie storybook play out on both sides in that main event in Manchester.
Yeah, definitely. All right, fellas, we got to wrap up, man. We've been on for like an hour and a half, so yeah. All right, so again, you can follow Jesse at Spawat1983. Dave is at Dave's MMA Brief, and then Kirby at Kirby_MMA. I'm tired, dude. I'm on my
wait. So someone tempted you with pizza? Is that what happened?
Oh no! So here's the thing. Okay, first of all, let me backstory. I'm competing this weekend, but next weekend, right? And I have to make for no-gi with my gear, with my rash guard and my shorts on. I got to make 203.5, right? And then with the gi on later on that day, or even maybe before that, I got to make 207.5 with the gi on. So I've been cutting weight because I walk around at 206, right? And you gotta make up for the weight of the gi and all that other shit, right? So I'm cutting down. I woke up this morning at 201 pounds. So I go to work, and these guys every Wednesday, one of the guys brings pizzas, and it's always that shitty ass like Los Caesars pizza, right? Now, you know, it's shitty unless they want to sponsor us. You guys want to sponsor us? It's the best pizza available ever. If you don't, go fuck yourselves. All right, but regardless, it's it was there, and I look at it, and it was wide open when I got there. I was like, oh shit, fuck it, and I have to flip it off because I'm on weight cut, motherfucker. I gotta stay under 200 pounds until next Saturday, basically. So that's what it is. But no, you can't tempt me with food, dude. It's not working. I'm disciplined. My level of discipline is ridiculously good right now.
Are you sure? Because I could have our good buddy El Gallito, Ricardo Palacios, pull up with his food truck outside your work there and start making some of those fries and stuff.
If he wants to do that on October 10th, all power to him. I will eat like a pig. But until October 8th goes, Nah, fuck that. All right, I'm clean. I'm clean until then. All right. And again, you can follow Kirby at Kirby_MMA. I'm at Elo31. The MMA Advocates are at the MMA Advocates. You can see it actually down here somewhere. And of course, at Crosslands MMA. Yeah, it's gonna do it for this week. We're looking into doing a breakdown for Portland this Friday. Hopefully, I'm going out of town. But of course, you know, I got the fellas are gonna be holding it down if I can't make it. So, again, we'll catch you guys next time. And thanks for watching. Have a good night.